Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Unearth. Today's guest is Kuda, who is the founder of Women's Association of Survivors, which supports women who have been victims of gender-based violence. She's also a personal development speaker. Welcome, Kuda.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, as you know, I always say this, we have a tradition where we ask each guest to bring something that they feel represents their womanhood. And Kuda brought something very interesting, and I'm interested to know why she brought this particular thing. So I guess the first thing that you can do, Kuda, is show our audience what it is that you brought today.
Okay, so today I brought this picture of myself. I took it myself using my phone. It was sometime in 2016 and September, yeah. So this day I had bathed after a very long time. I had put makeup on and I felt good about myself because the past months were so difficult for me. I was in depression because I had got out of a marriage. I had miscarried, and it was just a whole lot to take in, and I was also rejected by the community. In our African setup, coming back home when you have been married, the question is, what did you do? Did she cheat? All those kind of things. And to make matters worse, even the church, women from church started saying negative stuff, so I felt stigmatized. But then I was like, no, you know what, I need to get up. So the day when I decided to get up, it's when I took this picture. So this picture has always kept me going. Yeah, it's a bit messy, and I like it that way because it's always on the wall in my room. So when I feel like I'm hitting rock bottom, I just look at it and see where I've come from, and it always gives me hope. Yeah.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I mean, like having this picture, you've had it since 2016.
Yes.
And it still, up to this day, reminds you of the strength that you've had to come out of such a difficult situation. Wow, you should be proud of yourself. So, I mean, from this experience, that's how you established your organization. And it's the Women's Association of Survivors, WAS. Can you tell me a bit more about what you do with the organization?
Okay. So with Women Association of Survivors, we offer psychosocial support to victims and survivors. And we also empower women to be financially independent. We also send back-end girls to school who have survived abuse, because in most cases, talking from first-hand experience, I myself, I am a survivor of sexual and gender-based violence. So there are a lot of things that go on that happen. Let's say you have survived sexual abuse from someone who has been taking care of you, paying your fees, etc. So it means if they go to prison, there's no school for you. Yeah. So also for women, most women don't leave abusive marriages or relationships because they're not financially independent. They think that, what am I going to do with those kids? I didn't finish my O-levels. What am I going to do with my life? So those are the questions that most victims ask themselves. What am I going to do with my life? So WAS is here to say, you know what? We are ready to give you a second chance. We're ready for you to be the person that you have always wanted to be, by giving you the support that you need, be it financially, be it sending you back to school or counseling. Because when you're a victim, you would have lost everything. It's like
you're nobody. Because you lose yourself during that period when you're trying to save someone from their own demons, because you think you're the one who made that monster to come out, you know. So you feel like it's an obligation for you to tame it. So during that process, you lose yourself. So counseling is very essential for every person who has gone through abuse, because you need to rebuild your self-esteem to go back into the world.
Wow. And I think also, having gone through that experience yourself, you probably have like an understanding. You can understand the situations that other people are going through, and as they come to you, they can feel more supported because you know exactly what it's like to be in that type of situation.
Yeah, so true.
I believe that being a victim, in as much as we have a lot of counselors, not saying that I'm good, but then I can actually resonate with a person. I can actually pick a person amongst maybe 3 women that, there's something wrong with this person. She's going through something, So with counseling, it's all about connecting with a person to create a safe environment for that person to actually share with you. So I think for me, with the experience that I went through, which is not a good thing, but it has made me understand how to assist the other person who's going through it.
All right. And what would you say is something that you know about gender-based violence now that you did not know, before?
Well, I've always thought that we are the ones who provoke those perpetrators all my life. From the time when I was 16, when I was sexually abused, I questioned what I was wearing, because society has always questioned what you'll be wearing. What were you wearing? For me, I was wearing a school uniform. So I'm like, was the skirt too short? But it was below my knees. So those things, victims tend to blame themselves. And in terms of the physical abuse and the emotional abuse, each time the person beats you, or when they say stuff to you, they'll tell you, you're the one who poked the monster in me. So we've always believed that it's the victim's fault. But with my experience working with people, studying all those things surrounding GBV, I have started to understand that it's the perpetrator's fault, because they have a choice. They have a choice to inflict pain on another human being. They have a choice not to inflict pain on that human being still, but then it depends which choice they choose. So yeah.
Wow. And as I was going through your work, I looked at your Instagram, and I saw this one particular quote that I found very interesting, and it said, "Have relationships that complement your standards." What does that mean to you? Like, when you wrote that, what does that mean to Kuda?
Well, when I wrote that, I think something happened, but then I don't remember what exactly. Sometimes we tend to have relationships, be it from work, family, friends, and romantic relationships, because we think we've got big hearts. Even if those relationships make us feel as if our life is stagnant at times, it's more like you want to move, but then there's an anchor holding you back. So most relationships hold people back, be it family, romantic relationships, at work. So for me, I think if you want to be somewhere in life, always have relationships, always have a circle of people that will always say, you know what, we see what you're doing, continue doing it. They should push you in a positive way, not in a negative way. Because if I would come and say, Nada, I want to rewrite
math.
Mm.
Then you go like, you don't need math.
Mm.
Why do you need math? Maybe this is a person who's saying, I don't have the finances, but I want to do it.
Mm.
Go do what other girls do.
Mm.
What does that mean? This is your friend. You know, then you're thinking, I don't know what those girls do. You know, I'm sharing with you, I need advice from you as a friend. So at the end of the day, you'd feel like this person doesn't really want me to be where I would want to be. As a friend, you can say, okay, fine, you want to write your math. When do you want to write? How about you do online tutorials or just download materials, then when you want to register, we'll see how we can go about it. You know, just give that person hope. But then if you drag them, if you put them down, I think for me it doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important to keep a circle of people that understand your vision and
Exactly.
they can push you forward. And even in moments where you doubt yourself, you can rely on them to say, Kuda, we believe in you. This is what you're dreaming, and
Exactly. Especially if you're a person who's always there for your friends, for your family, you advise them even when you see that that's a dead end. Definitely. You find ways of helping them, see the bigger picture in a thing, in something, but then when they pull you down. So yeah.
And now talking about support, I want to know who supports Kuda, because I can hear that you're supporting a lot of people. You're a counselor, you're probably a sister to some other people. Who's the person, or who are the people that you can call on when you need support?
My family on my side, they support me through prayer, through just talking to me. I do hit rock bottom most of the times, be it from work, at times you just need a hug. Now my mom knows if I say I want a hug, she won't ask, why do you need a hug, and someone to just sit down with me and give me wisdom. We need wisdom. You cannot survive on your own. So my parents, my sisters, and my friends. Funny enough, I do women stuff, but then most of my friends are guys, and they really support me a lot. Yeah.
Wow. And you're also a personal development speaker. So is that something that's related to the work that you do with women, or is that a separate part of your work?
Well, I wouldn't say it's different or it's related. I think it's the thin line, because everything that I do has a story behind. So in order for me to be where I am today, to get out of that deep hole of depression where I was, I started reading a lot. I couldn't talk to people. I started writing. Even praying, I couldn't pray to God. Like literally altering the words, I would write God letters. So for me, I was like, I really need to get out of this. The pain was so much. So I started reading books. So like, sometimes we miss it here because we don't develop ourselves. For example, when I was married, I had gotten a place at MSU. And when I told my partner, my then partner, he said, you cannot go far, it's far, I'm going to be lonely, whatnot. Then I had to forget myself because I wanted to please this partner, because I felt that we were enough, So I gave up a lot of things to just please him. So now I was like, I need to empower myself, so I need to develop myself personally. So from there, that's when I was like, people need to be developed, personally on a personal level. So yeah.
Wow. And how are people receiving then the work that you do? You're speaking, about personal development. How do people receive that?
Well, when I was starting, yeah, it was a bit difficult. You would hold a seminar and no one would show up. Yes, I once did that. And we had food, I even looked for other speakers, you know, and it was just the cheese and the speakers, no one showed up. Yeah, but then I didn't give up because I know that in as much as I want to help people, I don't have to help 10 people at once. It's okay if I help one. Yeah. So I just started telling myself it's okay if I can help one person, you know. So that person, if they get the help that they need, they can actually tell someone about Kuda, you know. So yeah, that's how I've been doing it, and to be honest, it has been great. I've had the chance to speak in universities, had the chance to speak on TEDx, Flower, I've had the chance to speak on other bigger platforms, even in other cities. So yeah.
You know what I love about what you've just shared is you're not giving up, because you had that event and no one showed up, but you knew that there's a place that you're supposed to go, and you know there's a purpose in whatever you're doing, and you've kept pushing and trusting that whatever you're doing has, you know, a meaning.
Yeah.
And before this, you shared that you also do counseling, and I know a lot has changed due to COVID-19, and I just want you to talk a little bit about how your experience has been in doing counseling remotely.
Well, at first it was difficult because we had to change a lot of things, but now we're now comfortable, rather. Yeah. So we had to find a way of reaching out to people, you know, going to people, you know. So whilst we had this event called the High Tea Series, it's more like a support group for women, but then we don't specifically say we need survivors or victims. We need everyone, because anyone can be a victim at any given time. So we get people to share their stories. So if there's someone in the audience who's going through something similar, they can start sharing, they can seek help, you know. So we took the High Tea Series on WhatsApp. We had 2 groups and there were 4. Then we started doing that and people started coming, you know. So far we have helped 50 individuals, and we also have men with the online high tea. We don't say it's a women's thing. We also had men, you know, coming through, and yeah, it has been overwhelming for our side, but then it has also been another way of impacting lives, of making people to seek counseling.
And I think it's something that's very important, because people tend to, you know, sit with their problems, bottle them up, and they don't know who to talk to. And what you have is, I think it's a very, very powerful platform and very necessary, actually. And when you were talking about your support system, I also noticed that I'll say that you were able to communicate, to say, I need a hug, you know, and so that your family and your friends, they understand this is what Kuda needs at this point, and it's something that we also need to learn to communicate when something is not right, or when you need a certain level of support from other people in your life.
Yeah.
Wow, your story is, you know, very, very powerful. So now, as we wrap up, I would like for you to leave, you know, our audience with a message, specifically for women. If you were to leave someone with one thing, you know, from this conversation, what would you want them to remember?
I would say we cannot save the people that hurt us if they don't want to be saved. A person has the choice, the same choice that you have, to say, I want to save this person. So if they cannot choose that, if they cannot decide that they need saving, they need to save themselves from themselves, you cannot do it. An abusive person can never really change. if they don't get help they need psychologically, because it's in their mind that the child in them was bruised at some point, so they haven't healed from it. So whatever hurts them, they're feeding on other people. So if you find yourself in that situation, you would have tried your best to assist them. You don't have to go on the extra mile if they cannot even try to go just 1 mile. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And if there's anyone who would like to get help or reach out to your organization, how do they find you?
They can communicate with us on our social media pages, be it Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, on Women Was.
Women Was.
Yes.
Right, so I'm sure you've heard that. If you want any service or counseling, or you just want to know a bit more about what Kuda and her team do, you can find them on their social media platforms at Women Was. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode today. I hope you found something for you, and see you next time. This is Unearth.